Okay, I'm gonna film part 2 of the story time, continuing on from my first ever booking, because my entire bookings with him were a shit show, a fucking shit show. But let's just get into what happened the second time I saw him. So if you missed the first part, maybe go back and watch it. But essentially it left on the note of the girlfriend who had flipped the shit about him seeing me, wanted to do a booking with him for my second booking, which both of these happened within the same week. Now, obviously, when he inquired about this, my first thought and my first concern was, is she dangerous? Is she wanting them to book me together so that she can attack me, she can fight with me, that kind of thing? So I did ask him that, and he said to me, absolutely not. She's only really a harm to herself. She would never hurt you. Remember that this was, what we were originally going to do. We were originally planning to book you together, okay? And that, he explained that they'd talked it out and everything like that. Stupidly, I agreed to do this booking with both of them. I now do not see couples at all. But at that time, I thought, fuck it, it's good money and I needed the money. So agreed to do the booking. Again, it was an out call to the Sunshine Coast, but the place that he booked for this booking with her as well was a lot nicer than where I had seen him the first time. And I actually got there before them, and he sent me through the Airbnb stuff of how to get into the Airbnb, so I wouldn't have to wait outside. So I was there about half an hour before them, which I did think was really nice that they let me go straight in. When they arrived, it was very different from what I expected. I'd seen photos of her, but she was a lot more beautiful in person. She was genuinely like a 9 out of 10, like very, very pretty. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I did kind of wonder what she was doing with him, because he was not a particularly attractive guy and he didn't have a very nice personality either. So I really couldn't see what it was that why she was with him, okay? And if I'm being totally honest, at first I thought that there was a chance that she was also an escort or a sugar baby of some sort. But as the night went on, it became apparent that that was not the case. So she was lovely to me from the second I got there. If I remember right, it was about a 4-hour booking with the out-call fee as well added on. And they wanted to start the night like very slow. They wanted to start out with a bottle of champagne. I think she had some sort of other drink because she didn't like the champagne, and some food from his business is all I will say. I won't give any more information just in case someone can work out who he is. All this food there, everything like that. It was really nice. We were having a chat. Me and her were actually getting along really, really well. I did really like her. I think she's a great person, and there was no issues with her throughout the booking. However, he was being really, really strange. He kept sort of taking off, and the Airbnb wasn't huge either. He was sort of vanishing. We didn't really know what he was doing, or I would ask her what he was doing. She didn't seem to know. It turned out that he was going off to do Frank, which is a drug, GHB, I don't know what it's called. But it does make clients quite aggressive, and I've had a lot of issues with this particular substance within my career. So he was sneaking off to go and do this while we were eating and everything like that. Now, this guy, I thought it was a result of the Frank at the time, but due to through the series of bookings that I had with this guy, it became apparent that it was not from the Frank. He had some sort of schizophrenia or something like that. He was talking to himself while walking around about things that weren't even happening, things we had said about him, like objects. Like he thought a lot of objects, like random things, had meaning. Like he might say that this blue color means that someone's going to win the lottery. He had a particular thing with bees. He was obsessed with bees, and bees to him had some sort of supernatural meaning, and he was obsessed with my bee tattoo, which is, he told me in the first booking why he booked me, because he saw I had a bee tattoo. So pretty much me and her are having a good time, having a couple drinks. It kind of just feels like a girls' night, genuinely does. And he is running around the place being weird, saying weird shit, doing drugs in bathrooms, and being an idiot, an absolute fucking idiot. Regardless, I'm there and I'm getting paid, and at this point he did pay me. She got him to pay me as they walked in, which is all good. So eventually we get to a point where it's like, we've got an hour and a half left, we should probably actually be doing the thing. And so me and her encourage him to come and actually participate in the main event, right? Because that's what he's paid for. And she explains to me she's had a lot of threesomes before and stuff like that. She's very adventurous, so she's really excited. And she brought all these toys she wanted us to use and all that kind of thing, right? And he comes over for, I want to say about 15 minutes. He's participating in the introduction, which is like all of us kissing, and then she starts going down on him kind of thing. And then he freaks out and he goes off like running around, just talking to himself and going on about how we're talking about him and we hate him and blah, blah, blah. And we're both like, what the actual fuck? Like, what the fuck? So me and her try to ignore it for a little bit, and we're still like kissing and doing stuff and like oral and that kind of thing on each other, and we're trying to encourage him, like shouting out his name and getting him to come back, but he's just in a whole fucking nother planet. So at this point I'm like, these bookings are just chaotic, like this must be what it is like to be an escort, like nothing is going the way it's meant to. She tries to talk to him. She ends up, after about 10-15 minutes, she leaves and she goes down and she talks to him one-on-one. And I could hear him saying, I will come and join you. Go and start. I will come and join you in about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just nervous. She was like, okay, that's fine. So me and her go into the bedroom. Again, we're kissing, there's a bit of strap on, like that kind of thing. We're having a bit of fun. And he comes to the door and we think he's coming in to join. And we're both like, oh, like come in kind of thing. And he's just standing there, but he has this look on his face. He's just like, and it was creepy. I don't know how else to explain it. It was like part of him was not fucking there, like a zombie. So bizarre. To be honest with you, I don't really remember much else of that booking. I do remember that me and her had no issues at all. I know that she followed me on social media for quite some time. But yeah, I just remember him being really strange and this drug stuff. And I remember actually being a little bit frightened when I had to go to my car, because I just was frightened that he was going to follow me to my car. And it is a bit weird to be that frightened, especially when there is someone else there. Like, because at this point she's sort of become an ally, but he just, it was so strange. And you know, this is part of the risk that we take seeing people on substances. I hadn't given permission for him to be on any sort of substance at all during that booking, and I didn't realize until that last sort of hour and a half that he was actually taking something, because he wasn't doing it in front of me. And when it's that sort of dynamic and I'm with her, it was easy to miss what he was off doing. From that point on, I saw him quite a few times without her. However, some of the times she was aware of, some of the times she was not. It was a bit icky, it was a bit messy, but I think all in all, I don't think she really cared that he was seeing me. I think she cared that he was lying. I think that's what the issue was. You know, over time, because obviously I saw him maybe 6, 7, 8 times, he became more open about the drug use. But I do think that it wasn't just the drugs that were the issue there, the Frank. I do genuinely think this man was schizophrenic and had a serious issue going on mentally, because it's hard to portray that in a video, but just the constant, like you're sitting here and you're having a conversation with somebody and it's like a bee, and then rambling without taking a breath about a bee for half an hour straight, forgetting that I am on the clock. And that's half an hour of the time that's now gone because you wanted to ramble about a bee that makes no sense. He would also non-stop, like for the entirety of our, you know, client provider, like relationship, non-stop message my phone. I think I have over 1,000 messages from this guy, and I only saw him, like 7 times or whatever. That's a lot of messages, and they would just be all times of the night, and if I wasn't replying, he would send more and more and more. So sometimes I would open my phone to like 60 notifications at once, and I would just be like, what the fuck? And it would just be him going on and on about bees or numbers and like someone, like aliens, like all that kind of thing. It was very, very unhinged. I might also include in this video a little recount of a couple other times that I saw him. And I might just leave like the end, like why I fired him, as a separate video. But I remember the next 2 times, both were out calls. I think one was a 6-hour out call, actually, again started with champagne, and again he would normally provide me food from the business that he owned, right? And I would, you know, it was really good food. It was kind of nice to go out and have something to eat and a drink. But only once did we ever get to the point, I think that might have been the 3rd time that I saw him, did we get to the point of actually penetrative sex. Because every time you would try to be like, hey babe, like we've got like an hour left, do you want to go into the bedroom now? Or even try to sit near him so that you could initiate something. Like if I went and sat next to him on the bed, he would take off. So it was pretty much impossible to actually get the deed done. And if I'm being honest with you, I know as an outsider it may look like, oh, she just wanted to avoid doing the thing. But in the situation with him, I would rather have been having sex than having to fucking listen to the ramble and the nonsense that he wanted to go on about, because it was really hard to keep up with him. He was just like every 5 fucking seconds. So the third time we did start having sex, I want to say that it definitely got in, but it was like a minute and a half or 2 minutes in, and then he freaked out and started going on about aliens being in the room and pulled himself out of me and started running around the room, right, about these fucking aliens. And then he wanted to initiate again when there was less than 10 minutes left of the booking. And I said to him, babe, there's only 10 minutes left now because you were running around screaming about aliens. And he was like, you're scamming me. You're fucking scamming me. I've booked you 3 times now and we haven't even had sex. And I'm like, babe, we started to. You pulled out and you ran around like a chicken going on about aliens. Like, what else was I meant to do? What else was I fucking meant to do? Okay. I think it was the 4th time I saw him. We got to the point of doing the hanky-panky. And when he pulled his pants down, he had this really weird pair of like black, like kind of like this sort of fabric-ish, black underwear with just a hole with his dick out. Okay, just his dick out. So I couldn't see any of the skin around there. I couldn't see his balls. It was just the dick out. And I said to him, babe, I need to be able to see what's happening down there, because you could have an STD or an STI and you could be wearing that so that I can't see it and I do this thing with you without me fucking checking. Like, it's part of my job. I need to be able to see the skin around if there's warts or something like that. He kicked the fuck off. He kicked the fuck off at me asking him to remove it. I didn't care if he wanted it on in the booking. Like, if that was his kink thing, he wanted to wear those undies. That is fine. But I need to be able to see the skin. I need to check for warts. I need to check for like open lesions. Like, I need to see. And he fucking flipped off at me. He was like, you fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing wrong with me, rah, rah, rah. And then later on, after about 15 minutes of fighting, he says, no, the aliens clawed at him, scratched his genitals, and that's why he has to wear that, because he has cuts and stuff down there from the aliens clawing him in his sleep, and that was what he was hiding from me. And I said, well, babe, like, can I see? No, wouldn't. Just went back in the bathroom and was like with the little syringe thing doing more Frank. It was a shit show. Now after that was the 4th booking. He sent me a series of abusive messages about how I was scamming him, and how I was coming out and I was never actually letting anyone have sex with me. I was like a fake escort, which is a thing, and there are girls who do this. But that wasn't what I was trying to do. That genuinely was not what I was trying to do. I was trying to get the thing done, okay? But you literally was inside of me, okay? Erect and inside of me, and runs off about fucking aliens. What am I meant to do, okay? And at this point, like after that 4th one, I believe that this is when I started talking to the other girls, and this is when I actually learned how to screen him, and I saw that he had a history of this kind of behavior, is all I'm going to share. That this was not a first time thing for him. This was something that he did all the time, and that he was a bit more dangerous than I thought he was. As somebody who has grown up around a lot of mental illness similar to this, I thought that it was like wrong of me to cut off a client because they were schizophrenic or because they had some sort of mental dilemma going on. But in hindsight, it's not really my fault. Like, if someone's acting really erratic and dangerous, it's not up to me to continue seeing them and putting myself in harm's way. But at the time, on that 4th booking, when I realized all the things he had previously done and like his history and stuff, I felt a bit bad for him, and I felt like other workers wouldn't want to see him because they'd know how to screen, and I was just stupid and didn't know what I was doing. And that, you know, someone with a mental health condition shouldn't be excluded from these kind of services. But, you know, a few bookings later, we realized that it just wasn't worth it at all. None of it was worth it. And that this guy was seriously dangerous, and shouldn't be seeing workers at all. but I will do another video on that. I hope you've enjoyed, and once again, I don't go into detail on my clients and like dish out their secrets on a regular basis. This is a client that I now will no longer see, and I haven't given away any information about his name or his age. All I've said is Sunshine Coast, which is a big place. There's no way that you can work out who he is, no identifying stuff, but I think in a situation like this where something was really dangerous and I wouldn't see the client again, it is important that I do talk about my experiences because this can help other women. So yes, I'm very out of breath now, but I hope that you've enjoyed that.